Good evening. How y'all doing? We're here tonight talking through how I made the song Intruder, which was the last single I dropped. I have a new one coming this Saturday, Play With Me, a song about Sonic.exe, which I'm very excited for. But tonight we're taking a look at Intruder, which is a song written about the analog horror series, the Mandela Catalogue. And I figured we'd start off just by watching the music video, listening to the song once, just to get a vibe for it. Let's take a listen. Hey, what's up, Clackable? That intro is the first thing I made, and I just sat with that for a week, tweaking it, getting it just right, and then wrote the rest of the song from there. I still love this chorus. Yo, thank you, VG's in. Thank you so much for the super chat. Cool. I'll jump ahead a little bit because the second verse is pretty much the same as the first. Heading into the bridge. That one shot is so cheesy. This was a zero-budget music video, folks. I did this shot by shooting a video of myself doing this, putting that on Plex on my computer, and then streaming that to the TV in our bedroom. Did I actually do a headstand? No. I sat in front of a green screen like this and then flipped it over, Norby. That was fun. So. AU Sands asked, did I have any experience with synths before? Yeah. So I've been producing EDM and pop stuff. As long as I've been playing metal, I've always been doing a little bit of everything. I tried to make a lot of dubstep and stuff when that was a big thing. So I've always been designing sounds, and I got really into synthwave last year. So that's fun. Oh, Dakota, that's not my address. That's the address of the company I use for emails. You can go there, though. So, I want to take a look at this step by step through each section, starting with the instrumental, and we'll just talk about how I designed each sound, what I was thinking as far as writing the notes it's playing goes, and then at the end, I think it'll probably take like an hour to go through everything, and then I could just do a Q&A for a while if anybody has any questions, but I might hold off on answering questions too much until I get through just talking through the whole thing, just because if I don't, it's going to take us forever to get through the whole thing. Okay, so jumping right in with the intro, the very first thing I had was writing a song. I wanted to use this emergency broadcast sound. I had just gotten super into Mandela Catalogue and analog horror in general. And I love the just like primal, weird level of horror this sound can instill. I actually had to Google a lot to see if it was legal for me to use it in a song. And it turns out it is not legal to broadcast the EAS on television or radio. But as far as I can tell, digital streaming, totally cool. No problem. And YouTube, totally cool. But if this were on like terrestrial radio or television somehow, that would be a problem. But it's not, so we're good. This intro, this was, like I said, the first thing I came up with was these two sounds together. To talk about this lead sound, I don't know if it's a lead, whatever it is, this thing. This is the result of stacking a lot of concepts on top of each other. So I'm just going to deactivate all these plugins step by step, and we're just going to kind of go through and see how it all comes together. I was going to use a lo-fi effect on here at one point, but I never ended up turning that on, so I'll just delete that so I don't get confused. In Serum, here's what the actual synth sounds like. Let me just solo that. That's weird, right? If we turn off the distortion in Serum and we just listen to these oscillators, we have this dist bass dropper waveform. And then we have just a saw wave. Oh, so this is interesting. This saw wave isn't actually on. It's not doing anything. If I turn it up, you'll hear it. But it's not doing anything because we're actually using it as an FM oscillator for oscillator A. Check it out. If I turn this down, you get a lot of crazy sounds. So this is being modulated by the other one. I'm like wiring them into each other, and it just like totally freaks out the sound. It sounds super cool. FM synthesis is like magic. I don't understand how it works. I just fiddle with it and stuff happens, and sometimes it's cool, and that's it. You don't know how to make FM oscillators with Serum? It's really easy. You just pull this morph knob down to FM from B, or FM from the sub oscillator is really useful sometimes. Like I could have done that with this. I could have turned this to a saw and used that. I just didn't. So there's the basis of our sound. And you can kind of hear it, right? But it's not really, it's not the sound I wanted. I wanted something a little more broken sounding. Like the sound of analog horror to me is like VHS tapes and cassettes and like stuff that's always deteriorating. That's what analog horror is to me. That's the essence of the aesthetic for me. So to do that, I used just a simple reverb. If I turn this up, you can hear we're getting closer to the sound. Now it sounds like it's in a space with this reverb. And here's the thing that really put it over the edge. This is the Argent compressor. This is by Nimble Tools. This might be the only thing they make. This is the only thing I know from them. This is a compressor designed to mimic the compressor that Mick Gordon used on the Doom soundtrack, which is why it's called the Argent compressor, for Argent energy in Doom. And what it does is basically slam this sound into the ground and annihilate it to absolute nothingness. Here's it off. And I'll turn it on. You can hear it just crushes everything. There's no sense of dynamics or volume or anything. It's just like... It's super cool. And then finally, listen to that decay on the reverb too. It's crazy. Okay, finally, and you don't have to have this plugin to do this. You could do this with a compressor sidechain or something. But this is LFO Tool. This is one of my favorite, like just quick, instant fixes for a track. And this is going to turn the volume down and up on the beat. So it starts the beat completely silent, and then it fades up, and then it kind of does this little curve here. But most importantly, it goes on every beat, and that turns it from this into this, which gives you that like EDM dancey feel. I love LFO tools so much. So there's our intro. I think I adjusted the volume of this track at some point. There we go. Oh, but let's turn that back on. Okay. So there's our intro. Oh, it's the intro of the intro. Then we jump into like the actual proper first section, still the intro, whatever it is. And this is where we start to bring in more instruments. We bring in the bass, which is like my favorite bass sound. I use it on a lot of things. Oh, right. The scream. Okay, so here is a scream. This is the same one I used on the Carmen Winstead song, Too Late. You can hear the whole thing. Oh, never mind. I applied a bunch of reverb to it and then froze it. And we just ended up with this. So just that one little distorted scream. I'm crunching it up a bit further with Decapitator. Here it is on its own. So you can hear it really like up front and totally overblown. So we do that scream on beat 1. This is something I love to do, because I could just as easily have done just like a hit on beat 1 and have the song start like 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you drop the 1, you take it out, you catch the audience off guard. 1, 2, 3, here it comes in. 2, 3, 4. That punch on 2 like takes you by surprise when 1 isn't there. So you can feel this buildup. Listen to where 1 isn't. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it comes. 2, 3, 4. And 2 hits you so much harder because of that. I love it. Let's go through these instruments. You're going to see a lot of the same stuff. You'll see pretty much duplicates of the same tracks. Here's that that lead we were going through earlier. Identical to the same one before. It might be EQ'd up a little bit to be kind of brighter, but that's it. We also have the EAS. That's still going. Now we start bringing in a bass and a few other synths playing the same line. Here is the bass line. And this is, I don't know if anybody knows my song, Breathe, from Versus Psycho Red. It's literally this bass from this section. Right here. I still love that drop. I want to write that into like a real song. It's so much fun. And I did that there too. I didn't pull 1 out, but I pulled everything out on 1. I made it hit really hard, and then 2 is where the beat comes in again. That's a trick I use a lot, I guess. So yeah, this is the breathe bass. In fact, I think it even literally the patch is called breathe bass. To go through this step by step, there's a lot of things going on in here. Again, we're going to turn off some of these plugins, and we're going to... Is 2 instrument racks stacked inside each other? I think it might be. Okay, that's what's happening. All right. So we have an instrument rack here, which means that we have multiple instruments stacked on top of each other playing at once. We have 2 of them. Here's one. This is like the straightforward breathe bass sound. There we go. So let's turn off some of these effects and see if we can boil down what's happening in this synthesizer. piece by piece. Starting with, we just have an oscillator. This has a very short decay. Simple saw wave, just crunching down. Not really doing much of anything crazy. But here you see we have FM sub activated, which means as soon as I turn on this sub oscillator, this is going to totally change. Let's listen. Do you hear that change? Again, that's literally just feeding a sine wave into this as an FM sub oscillator. That's it. Oscillator B is playing the same thing as A, but just an octave up. You can see octave -1 here, octave 0. So here's oscillator A. And here's oscillator B. Amateur Remixer. I said I'm pretty much not going to be answering questions until after I finish going through this. So altogether we have this. Then we bring in a filter. And everything's moving together. It's got this very short decay. I have the LFO mapped to this. Right? What do I have mapped to that? Oh, envelope 2. There we go. So I have a bunch of different envelopes basically doing the same thing here. And this filter is just adding that kind of wow sound. I tend to like really low resonance filters. This just sounds cheesy to me. But that sounds cool. And then we add some distortion. I add distortion to everything. Every synth I work on, I crunch it to hell. And there it is. It sounds cool. And now here's the secret sauce. This EQ. Take a listen. Radio, you know what? I will answer that right now because that's a good question. An LFO, okay, all these things down here are just controllers that you can map to different knobs. An envelope is something that plays every time you press a note. Every time you press a note, whatever you attach this to will follow this pattern here. It will go up, all the way up, and then curve downward. And I have envelope 1 mapped just to the volume of the overall thing. So if I turn this up, you can hear it. Well, the distortion kind of makes it hard to. You can hear it's wide open now. Or really short. So that's an envelope, and it has attack, which is how long it takes to start, decay, which is how long it takes to slow down after you push it, sustain, which is how quiet it gets, and release, which is how long it lasts after you let go of it. An LFO is a controller just like that, except it goes back and forth. Wow, 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 wow. And Serum has really powerful LFOs that can be any shape you can imagine. I can literally draw in whatever is crazy. And then I can map this to something and it'll just do that all the time, which is cool. Serum also lets you use LFOs as just like bonus envelopes. So this one is in envelope mode, and it's just acting as another envelope that's mapped to these EQs. Okay, so getting back to this EQ, let's check this out. Let's see what on earth it's doing here. These little peaks moving. What it's doing is adding a couple resonant frequencies that I'm moving together. And what this is actually doing, what this ends up doing, is simulating almost the vowels that a human mouth can produce. Because this is what happens when we make different sounds. We're actually just performing resonant filters with our mouth. And this is a thing I picked up from, I think, Virtual Riot. He'll just do this where he maps like two different peaks, or maybe he'll cut one and it could sound like this. It could sound really cool. So you could do all kinds of cool stuff with that. Oh, I just broke this. Yeah. Oh, that's not it. We're going to reload this session because I broke that bass real hard. But that's the general structure of that half of the bass. And like I said, that's only half of the bass. There's another half. That's that other synth, that other instance of Serum on there. ABC, Derry, can't handle this much information at once. I know, it's a lot. It's a lot of crazy stuff. My best recommendation with this kind of stuff, if you're feeling overwhelmed, just like whatever you watch, just try to get like one little nugget of something you can use, something you can try out. And it may be something as simple as like sidechaining to your kick drum, or using an LFO on a synthesizer, or layering two different synths playing the same part at once, like I'm doing here. Just get one little nugget that you can use. It goes a long way. Okay, so here's that bass. Like I said, that was half the bass part. Here's one of our bass synths. The one we were just going over. Here's the other one. This is what this one sounds like. It totally doesn't sound like that's in there, right? But it's in there. It's doing a lot. Here's the two of them mixed. Here's just the one bass. Feels empty now. Feels tiny. Turn it back on. It's filling up the rest of this space. This one's dead simple. It's literally just two saw waves. This one. And this one. I've got the unison detune on them because that always makes it sound good. And then finally a filter just going womp, 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 womp on each one. That's it. Nothing crazy. No effects or anything. Literally nothing. Just the envelope on the filter doing that. Nothing crazy. So there's the basis of our bass sound. Then we throw on, this is MoTT, which is a version of OTT, which is a compressor in Ableton, and it's also a plugin outside of this by the same folks who made Serum. But this is Slate's version, and I just happen to like this a little better. And this is, for lack of a better word, it's, you know, Sound Goodizer in FL Studio? It's the same thing. It's just kind of like an instant, just mess this track up in a good way kind of button. So here's without MoTT. I'll bring it in. In this case, it's just kind of making it louder and a little punchier. It's not doing anything crazy. Then we've got an EQ just cutting out this one frequency that was kind of bugging me. I'll show you what it sounds like. What does the Serum Effects do? The third window by the oscillators. The filter? It's a filter. That's like a super basic function of just synthesizers. So check out like basic synth sound design, and you'll get the hang of that. So like I said, this frequency up here was kind of bugging me. So I just cut it out a little. That's all I'd use for an EQ. That's all I use with an EQ is just these tiny little cuts. Then we have LFO tool, of course. Doing the same thing it was on the other tracks. You're going to see a lot of LFO tool. This decapitator is going to kick in later. That comes in literally just at the end of this chorus. That's all I use it on? Wow. It's so tiny. Okay. Doesn't come up much, I guess. So that's our bass sound. Yeah, I'm with radio. People are people. Everyone's people. Give everybody the respect they deserve. So we got this bass part playing. And we have this synth down here playing the same thing. That's 98 BPM. And this synthesizer is, no surprise, it's a couple saw waves. I've got this filter kind of closed down here. And that's just distorted to hell. Here's what it sounds like without the distortion. That's it. It's just some saw waves, filter, crunch it up, throw a LFO tool on it. That's it. Easy. Yeah, I'm not down with that, sorry. Then I have some TV static here. I just found like the sound of a TV sitting idle. And then I put LFO tool on it. That's it. It sounds kind of cool. Check it out. Here's without it. And then with. It just adds some of that atmosphere. I'm all about those little sweeteners that add atmosphere and feel to it. Here's this piano I forgot I put on here. It's creepy sounding. I like it. And again, you're seeing a lot of the same things I'm using. Actually, there's some new stuff on here. That's fun. Here's the piano on its own. And then, of course, we throw Argent Compressor on here. That sounds crazy. LFO tool. This is an interesting one. Auto pan just kind of subtly moves it back and forth between your ears. I can make it really extreme. Check it out. If you're wearing headphones, you're losing it right now. So that's just kind of subtly nudging it back and forth in the ears. Here's a little bit of reverb. And then this is shifting it up an octave. Here's what it sounds like all the way. So it's just kind of adding some brightness. I'll do this a lot. I'll pitch shift things up an octave to add a little brightness, or pitch shift them down an octave to add a little like depth to a sound. It doesn't have to actually sound like it's there. It just adds some brightness. It's so subtle. And that's the intro instrumental. Those are all the pieces. Oh, and drums. There's drums in this song. With no surprise, if you've watched any of my streams, I use the Arena kit on here from Native Instruments Battery. Just the kick drum and the snare drum. That's the entirety of the drum beat to this song. So simple. I just want it to feel like this, just like endless march of like, you know, these alternates showing up. You can't stop them. Then we drop into the verse. I want to make sure the vocals are off because we're going to get to those in a minute. In the verse, we drop down. We have the bass sound from before, but I have an EQ on it, cutting it all the way down. So here's the bass. There's our regular bass sound. I'm just using a low-pass filter on this EQ to totally cut it down. That's all, just to make it sound kind of muted as we drop into the verse. I have a kick here. This is also the Arena kick, but again, filtered down. And actually running Decapitator and Argent Compressor on it. Wow, I went hard on this. So here's the kick on its own. Then the EQ. Decapitator. Also, I haven't explained Decapitator. It's just a distortion plugin. It just makes things really crunchy. It's really fun on drums, like 808s and stuff. And then finally, Argent Compressor, just squashing it down. Bringing it back up to volume. That's all the verse is. Once it kicks in louder, the full drums come back in. We move back to our actual bass sound. And that's it. It's literally just the bass and drums. You heard someone say, don't tune kicks. Yeah, so some people will get really, really up in arms about tuning their kick drum to the key of the song. So like if we listen for what note this is, we might even be able to get a tuner on it and find out. So this is an F sharp, and this song is in C, I think. Yeah, this song's in C. So I could theoretically, like, shift this down, like, 6 half steps. Or up 6 half steps. So it's in key with the rest of the song. But honestly, I literally don't think that matters at all. If you have a drum that has a really pronounced, like, tone to it, like if you hit a drum and it sounds like a note, I will tune that to the key of the song. But that's pretty rare, as to be honest, I literally just always use this kick and snare sample on everything. We get to the pre-chorus. This is where things start ramping up a little in intensity. We bring back in this thing we were using back here. This synth, it comes back and starts playing in unison with the pre-chorus. Unison meaning they're playing the same notes at the same time. If I had a choice, would I rather put less kicks or more kicks? No, exactly as many kicks. I brought the TV static back in. Oh no. What? Oh no! What happened? The following samples were not found! Ah! Okay, that means I just need to, find them. Hang on. Forgive me. Program data, Arturia, samples, synclavier, factory, Patchworks. Did they just, like, cut out stuff? Okay, fine. Hang on. So I moved to a new computer while I rebuilt my old computer. But thankfully, I kept a clone of my old hard drive. Yeah, weird. I don't know why I don't have that, Okay, cool. Nope, still broken. Okay, it looks like I was using this preset digit play, so I'm just going to scroll off it and then scroll back onto it. Oh, it's just straight up not here now. Wow. Thanks, Arturia. They must have updated this and changed it, I guess. Crap, that sucks. All right, well, let's find a piano sound that kind of works. Honestly, that's basically it. I'll turn up the FM modulation a little bit. Sounds like something from a horror movie. Ironically, it's very appropriate, but it doesn't really work here. Yeah, that basically works. Cool. So, we have this... I'm sorry, that caught me so off guard. I wasn't expecting that. Okay. Back on track. We have our bass playing here. Just playing the chords. Just playing the root of the chords. It's dropping an octave every time. Bow-do-do-do, bow-do-do-do. That's like a really common synth pattern, especially in synthwave and EDM. You'll do that a lot on your basses. Drop it down an octave for the first beat to like give it some extra punch. The drums, we add some hi-hat in. We just kind of have these 2 hi-hat samples. I place all my samples manually. I know it would probably be much more efficient to use a drum rack and write it in as MIDI, but that's the hi-hat part. That's it. So here's our drums all together. On top of all that, we start stacking a lot of keyboard sounds. So first up, we have what's left of the synclavier. Synclavier was a really sick synthesizer in like the 80s. It was the first like full computer synthesizer setup where you could like load samples onto it and everything. And it's just got this nice like, it's got such a wide range of sounds it can make. Let's see if we can find anything else that fits it. It's not that. Why would they think that's a good sound to include here? You know, that's I just why? Okay, that's pretty solid. There we go. Anyway, what that synclavier is playing are 2 things. Let's listen to them, and I can isolate them here. So first, it's just literally playing the chords. Just each chord, one at a time. Oh, and this, of course, has LFO tool on it. So those are the chords it's playing. And then it's got the melody up top. Some of those notes. It's just playing the same notes I'm singing. I love adding in stuff like this because it just reinforces what's already there. Then I have some an FM synthesizer, just FM8, playing some bells. Just like chimey sounds. And again, LFO tool on there. Just keeps that sound pumping and moving forward. And then finally, a dead simple pad. Literally just 2 saw waves and a filter. And some distortion, because I distort everything. So all together, we have these 3 synths. And this is kind of the main stack building the sound of the chorus, right? If we listen to it all together, you can hear how those fit into the arrangement. It sounds like this big crazy thing, but really it's just these drums, which isn't anything special, right? Hang on. Why can't I put this? What the hell? Oh, there we go. Boop. Okay, so we have these drums going. Nothing crazy. Literally just kick, snare, and a couple hi-hats. We have this bass. We have our synclavier piano. The bells. And the pad. That's the whole chorus. That's it. It sounds huge. I love it. This is why I say keep things simple in your arrangements. AU, I've done both those songs. Check my channel out sometime, will you? In verse 2, we just introduce one more little sound. I've got this like creepy drum loop I found. Let's take a listen to what it sounded like originally. It's just like this weird thing. I just jump on Splice and I look for loops and I find something textural to throw in there. And it works. Oh, this is fun. This is sick. I forgot I did this. Okay. So this is auto filter, which is, it's a filter, you know. Does that. But I have it set to randomly bounce around like this. Just going like that. That sounds pretty cool. We throw LFO tool on top of that. Oh, I did some weird stuff to this one. I don't know why I did that. Crazy. Okay. And then I distorted it. That's it. That sounds cool. In the second half of the verse, in the second half of the second verse, I add in this synth. Someone said, take a drink every time Dean says just two saw waves. That's what they are. They're just two saw waves. Just two brothers. There's one cool thing happening on here, and that is that this envelope is mapped to the tuning of the note. So take a listen. If I slow this envelope down, it's really like this dropping laser gun sound. But when you make it really short, it like becomes this really fast attack. Like, I love it. Sounds cool. And that just adds to something. I like having something different in the second verse. Because if it's not, it just feels like we're retreading the same ground, you know? So we start the same way the first verse happened, but we have this extra drum loop, and then... and then we're back into our pre-chorus. I don't think anything's changed in this one. Oh, I have a drum loop here now, too. I added this one. Sounds like this. Cool little drum loop. It's subtle. I like adding little stuff like that. We're into the chorus. And finally, the bridge. We have this big, crazy synth. This big, huge bass. You can see our regular bass drops out, and this one comes in. What's that heavier synth that pops in on the chorus? Which one? It's just the bass. That's really the only thing going on there. Oh, right before? That might be this one. This is the, no, it's the bass. Hang on. Probably this one. This is one of the ones we went over in the intro. It's the same one that was playing this part. This is the one that was like a filtered down saw wave, just distorted to hell, and then LFO tool. That's all. That's pretty much the whole recipe for every synth in this song is variations of that. This bass in the bridge. Huge! So let's talk about what's going on here, because there's some stuff. First we have just the synth itself. Again, we'll build it from scratch. Turn off the effects. We have an oscillator. Guess what? It's just two saw waves. It's saw waves all the way down, baby. We have this sub oscillator down here too. You can hear it's really loud in the sub range. We throw a filter over top of that. And you can see I have the LFO mapped to be one bar long, one measure. So every measure it's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, just opening up. And I have that mapped to the cutoff of the filter, which makes it just this wide opening sound. We distort it. We add a little chorus. It's a subtle effect. It's not really doing much here, I'll be honest. Okay, this is probably the one that's going to be the hardest to explain. This is the EQ, but this isn't a normal EQ. This is what's called a mid-side EQ, which means most EQs are left-right. They work on the left channel and they work on the right channel of your ears, and that's it. If you boost the highs, both ears get louder. You know, both highs in the ears get louder. If you boost the lows, you know, it's the same on both ears. Mid-side EQ treats things differently. A mid-side EQ operates on two different things. One, the mid, everything that's centered in your mix. So let's take a listen. If you're on headphones, you're really going to hear this. If you're not, you will not. So here is the mid of this bass sound. Is that not working? Oh, okay, I see. Let me grab utility then so you can hear it. Oh, can you not do this either? You suck. I could do it with this EQ. I just didn't use it on this one. Equalizer. Here we go. Okay, so here's what the mid of the bass sounds like. It's going to be dead down the middle. You can hear there's no stereo information. There's nothing in all the way out in your ears. We're going to switch to the side. Now it's only out on the edges of your ears, and it might feel weird. It might feel like it's pulling your head. So what I'm doing with the mid-side EQ is boosting the highs, but only out in the sides of your ears. So as I do this, you're going to hear it widen. Wider. Thinner. It's a cool effect. Mid-side EQs are very powerful and very strange. We also have this arpeggiator going. Just kind of flying up and down these chords. I just wrote this in. I didn't use an actual arpeggiator. This is, as one would expect, you know, actually it's just one saw wave. I'm modulating the sync of this. Sync is kind of, if you can imagine, just like, it's not quite pitch shifting. I don't really fully understand how it works, but it's this sound. That's sync, and I like it. And we throw a filter on it, and that's it. We have the synclavier playing some chords too. That sounds so much like yeah, there it is. What is that? Anyone know what that is? If you don't know what that is, I'm so sad. There you go. Yeah, I'll drop the instrumental for this. The instrumental for this is available. Oh, I haven't mentioned this. If you look down in the description below, there's a link to download all of this. You can download this entire session, the MIDI files, the tracks, everything. You don't even need to have Ableton. I rendered all these tracks as waves, and you can download them. And the instrumental track is in there too. Super Mario RPG. Close. No, Super Mario 64. We have the FM bells playing just chords. And then finally the pad playing those same chords. And this is something I feel like maybe I've taken for granted, but I see it a lot and I feel the need to explain it. When you have multiple instruments playing chords, they should be playing the same chords at the same time. I thought that was like a given, but I see a lot of people not doing that. So these are all playing the same 4 chords. One chord, next chord, all together. Always together. And the bass is playing the bottom note of those chords. It all works together. And that's the song. That's it. It's straightforward. The last little piece of the instrumental that I want to mention are these effects that I use. You've seen these little whooshes and stuff around. I use these on everything. These are the Cashmere short sweeps. They're from Splice. And it's literally just that. It's so simple. But if we hear it in context... And we're going to hear it pushing us again into the next verse. Right here. You can see it just walks you forward through the song, kind of leading you into the next part. It's cool. I also use a sub drop in this last chorus here. It sounds like this. If you don't have headphones or like big speakers, you might not hear it, but it's just like a big boom. It's the sound of like, you know, an explosion in a movie theater movie. So it drops there, and then I reversed it, and it comes back up. That's weird. Why does it stay so low? I guess it just kind of rumbles there. That's weird. I also do this pretty often. I'll take this kick sample and reverse it right before the chorus. I do that in like every chorus of the Sonic.exe song I'm working on too. So here's how it sounds. It's just kind of this quick whoop. It just really makes the mix just punch you in the face a little harder. Just makes it hit that much harder. I love stuff like that. And then I have one last one, the sweep down, that I put at the start of like every 4 bars usually. It does that. So here's without it. It's just cool, but with more, now it feels like it's moving somewhere. I love using these effects to just keep things moving quickly, keep the energy going forward. Oh, and finally we have guitars. These are not real guitars. I didn't play them. This is Shreddage Hydra 3. Which sounds pretty good. It's running through Archetype Gojira, which is what I always use on guitars anyway. And it comes back in the last chorus here. Just to kind of kick things up again. I'm always just looking to raise the intensity anytime I repeat something. And I'll do that with these subtle little extra things. That's the thing. They're like back there, but you don't hear them. Here's without. And then with. Without. It just adds like that extra depth and bigness to the myth. I love it. The mix. So that's the instrumental. Let's talk about vocals. The thing about vocals, I didn't record them in Ableton. I recorded them in Pro Tools. As I've said a lot of times, I just prefer Pro Tools for recording vocals and guitars. Every time. It's just so much more powerful for editing really quickly. I can make all the changes I need to do. I can auto-tune. I can time correct everything. I can catch, like, I can stitch together different takes and stuff. So I do that all in Pro Tools. And you can see that here. These are all my vocal takes. And then I export those and I pull them back into Ableton. And here they are. And I would take you through them here, but these have the effects like baked into them. and I want to be able to show you what these sounded like without effects first. So let's hop into Pro Tools, and we're going to look at the vocal effects I used in the verse to start with, because there's some cool stuff going on here, and it kind of sets the tone for everything else I do here. So here's the first verse without any effects.
I'm the fear of the unknown, the face in monochrome, sound coming from your phone.
It's like fine, right? It's just me doing my Seto Kaiba voice, like, Yugi. I am inside your home, Yugi, with my blue eyes white dragon. That's what's going on there. Then we use this this pitch shifter plugin, Little Alter Boy, which is the worst name for a plugin ever. And that's taking it from that just like boring sound.
I'm the fear of the...
And we kick on this, and it sounds like...
I'm the fear of the unknown, the face...
We're adding this other like demonic voice underneath. So if I turn it up,
I'm the fear of the
that's what's underneath there.
the face in monochrome.
sound coming
But it's only
from...
kind of in there. And when you mix two different pitches and then you distort them, like we're going to later, they start to bleed together and interact in really weird ways that I loved for this. We'll hear that in a second. Next up, I added a whole bunch of high end on this equalizer. This is kind of a hard EQ to read if you don't know how to read like classic, parametric EQs. But basically, this is the highs, and I boosted them to hell. It cranked it all the way to the right. Let's turn this on.
I'm the fear of the unknown, the face in monochrome. Sound
You can hear what that's
coming
doing
from
to the
your
highs.
phone.
And then this is this is not decapitator. I'm sorry. This is distressor. This is a compressor that's just crunching it up.
I'm
It's a really like
fear of the
especially harsh
unknown,
compressor. I love
the
it.
face in monochrome.
Here I'm using chorus.
I'm the fear of the unknown, the face in monochrome. Sound coming from your phone.
Just to give it a little more movement. And then finally decapitator, which is going to start like mixing those two notes together, just bleeding them together.
I'm the fear of the unknown.
How do you even read EQs entirely? They're really easy. They're broken up into different bands. So here's the highs.
I'm the fear of the unknown.
Here's the high mids.
I'm the fear of the unknown. The face.
Here's the low mids.
I'm the fear of the unknown.
And here's the low frequencies.
I'm the fear of the unknown.
So decapitator, like I said, is bleeding those two voices together.
I'm the fear of the unknown. The face in monochrome.
And there it is. That's it. That's the voice. We have this little phone sound.
Phone. Do you hear it?
That one. That is the same exact chain, except at the end of it is Futzbox, which I love. This is a very fun plugin from McDSP, who's just a company that I absolutely adore. And this has a bunch of presets for basically any sound you could want to put your sound inside. So right now, this is emulating the sound of it coming out of a cell phone.
Do you hear it?
Like, this is literally an impulse response taken, like they recorded how sound comes out of a cell phone and then did math to like make it happen.
Do you hear it?
It's cool.
Do you hear it? Do you hear it?
I love that effect. Then we go into the verse,
Hear it? I'm the terror on your screen.
and it's just two of the same track.
I'm
So here's one
the
take,
terror on your screen. They don't.
and then I retook it and did it again. It's two different takes. This is very important. Whenever you double track things, you take it twice. You record separate takes, because otherwise it doesn't count. It doesn't work. So it's two different takes of the verse, just layered on top of each other. Nothing crazy. Here's just me whispering into the mic.
You know they'll never find you.
Creepy. And this has really nothing going on except the EQ and compression, just crunching it up. Here's without any of that.
With you. You know they'll never find you. You know they'll never find you.
Makes it brighter. Really sticks out. And that is most of what's going on as far as mixing goes for this song. When I get outside the verse and I start actually singing, I take away the pitch shifting effects and stuff, which is much better.
So admit.
Much better for singing. Let's take a listen to... Here's the pre-chorus without any effects.
So admit your fear.
Oh, let me turn these off too.
So admit your fears to the man on your TV. Do they know your hair?
You can hear it's not like, again, it's not great. It doesn't sound amazing. That's how much the mixing process introduces.
So admit your fear.
Here's my usual vocal chain. I start with a de-esser to take the edge off of some of the sibilants, the tss and t, the T sounds.
So admit your fears.
You can see it
To
picked
the
up on
man
that S
your
there.
TV. Do they know your hair?
It's helpful. I throw it at the beginning of everything. Then I'm boosting the hell out of the highs and compressing it again. Here's without.
So admit your fear.
And with.
So admit your fears.
It's great. And then just a little bit of decapitator mixed in at about half amount. So like here's all the way.
So admit your fears.
Oh, it's off. Here's all the way.
So admit your fears.
And without.
So admit.
But we mix in a little bit of it.
So admit your fears.
And you get kind of the best of both. It's great. As far as layering goes, you can see I have a lot of vocals here, right? We have a lot of different takes layered on top of each other. I have the lead and the dub, which is short for just the double, which is, again, just the same thing.
So admit your fears.
Recorded again. When you stack them together, they sound bigger.
So admit your fears to the man on your TV.
Then we have a harmony singing a different part.
So admit your fears. So admit your fears to the man on your TV. Do they know your hair?
It's just singing the same melody down like 3 notes down the scale. That's all. Then I have one singing an octave down.
So admit your fears. So admit your fears. So admit your fears to the man on your TV.
And finally, we have these screams, which are messy.
So admit your fears. Do they know your hair?
Like, they don't sound, again, they don't sound great. But when you put them all together, with the echo and everything, I just turned on some echo and some reverb.
So admit your fears to the man on your TV. Do they know your hair?
And it works. The chorus is pretty much the same concept. The chorus actually has even less going on. It's really just the lead.
Finding me here on your screen now. Finding me here
With the double.
on your screen.
This is just the double here.
Finding me here on your screen.
Singing it
now.
down an
You're
octave.
caught in.
So we have the high and the low.
Finding me here on your screen now. You're caught in between. I'm
Hey, later, Clockable. And then this is one that I think I saw Coffee Lemon asking about this. This is the Harmony Engine, which is one of my favorite plugins. Here's what it sounds like.
finding me here on your screen now. You're caught in between. I'm repeating your screams. There's nowhere to hide.
That is so much fun. So here's what's happening with that, because it's really cool. This is Harmony Engine. And there's a lot of knobs here, and I never touch any of them. I just set this to MIDI Omni. And then I record myself almost literally speaking the vocals. Like I don't even care about pitch at all. So here's what, oh, that was the wrong one. Okay. Here's what that sounds like.
Finding me here on your screen now. You're caught in between.
I'm just like,
repeating your screams. There's nowhere to hide.
I'm just singing a note. It doesn't even have to be a note. It should just stay in the same general range. And then I play the chords on the piano into MIDI. And I feed that MIDI into the Harmony Engine, which is the coolest sounding sentence ever. And it sounds like this.
Finding me here on your screen now. You're caught in between.
And it can do anything. It can play any notes. Like I could do
Finding me here on your screen now. You're
You could do anything. So it's not like quite a vocoder. It's a harmony generator, and it's super cool. I use that a lot now. And that is really pretty much what's going on with vocals. There's not too much more that happens. Oh, I have this stutter edit in the second verse where I go,
Intruders in the night. They'll speak the words on sight.
So I do that same kind of telephone effect with, I think I'm using Futzbox. Yeah, I'm using Futzbox again, set to a cell phone. But this time, I took the original recording, which was this. And then I chopped it up into tiny pieces and, like, duplicated it and just generally messed it up. Because that's the same kind of effect that the alternates have when they mimic your voice. At least it did in one episode where there was like a walkie-talkie message like that. So I mimicked that kind of sound there. I had fun with that. That harmony effect comes back in the bridge, I think. No, it doesn't. Where does it come back? What is this? I guess that's in there. I don't know what that is. So then we bring it all back into Ableton. And I have it organized into these folders just for like ease of use. I highly recommend taking your session organization very seriously because, as you can see, I mean, this song has 75 tracks. This is not a huge song, but it just adds up so much. I use different tracks for different sections of the song because I'm going to mix the verse differently than I'm going to mix the pre-chorus, which is different than how I'm going to mix the chorus. So I always use different sections, which is why these tracks add up so much. But yeah, I bring them into Ableton. Forgot to turn this back on. And we mix it in. I've got a few mixing plugins here. We're using MoTT, again, the one I was talking about earlier. Let's see what these are doing to our chorus track. So these are the effects that are on our chorus. Here's without any effects other than what was already done in Pro Tools. Let's turn MoTT on. So this is adding some bass and kind of thinning out the mids a little bit. Then we add some echo. That goes a long way. This is Fresh Air. This is a plugin also by Slate that just kind of adds some extra high frequencies. It's an EQ, but it does like a very specific type of EQ that works really well. So here's off and then on. Again, it's subtle, but it just adds that little extra kick that helps it stand out in your mix better. We're using micro shift, which just kind of adds some width to it by pitch shifting it the tiniest bit. Then we have reverb. Just the tiniest bit, just 12%. And then finally, a limiter to push it all louder. And that's it. That's how I mix the vocals for this. The last thing I did mix-wise, this is more of a mastering. Well, no, this is still technically mixing. This is one of my like secret tricks that I always use. And this is, I split all the instruments up, all the sounds up into instrumentals and vocal stuff. And the instrumentals get a mid-side EQ on them with a big cut in the mid right where the vocals sit. So this is going to be subtle, and you may not hear it, and that's okay. What EQ is this? This is Ozone. This is a mastering EQ. It's a whole mastering suite of plugins. So I am cutting out of the mid. Remember, we have mid and side. Mid is just the stuff that's in the center, just panned directly in the center where your vocals are going to live. And side is the stuff that's out here on the sides. I'm taking these frequencies where the vocals are always occupying out of the mids. I'm leaving them in the sides. They're fine out there, but I want them out of the way for the vocals. So here's where they're taken up. Here's the space they're taken up. Take a listen. Let's hear the chorus. Listen to how the instrumental is fighting. Now I'm going to cut it out. Like I said, this is a subtle thing. It's a very subtle difference. Finally, we have my mastering track. And this is where everything from the whole mix goes and lands, where we finally make it loud and ready to deliver. I actually didn't master this in live. I used Lander to master this, which if you remember from my Build Our Machine video. Lander, the industry standard in online mastering. I actually use it on like every song. It's great. But I have MoTT on here doing a little bit. And then this is my usual mastering limiter. And I'll just push this up until I see like -8. You generally don't want to go much higher than that. And that's Intruder. That's it. I want to know, does anyone have any questions? Like, I'm happy to go through pretty much anything related to the song. Well, I give us new mixing tips today in another song. Tercera, I'm still processing. So I took a mixing lesson this week with a really awesome mix engineer, like a big dude. And he diagnosed a lot of problems in my mixing process that I'd been having. More so in mixing metal than EDM, so not stuff that applies to this. Tell you what, after the Sonic.exe song comes out, I'll do a behind the scenes on that, and I'll tell you what I learned in the process of mixing that. Off-White Angel had a good question regarding the difference between stuff like Valhalla reverb and Ableton stock reverb. That's a good question. So, with regard to a bigger question of what's the difference between stock effects in your DAW, like Ableton, and paid effects like, say, Ozone or Neutron, Valhalla Vintage Verb. And the truth is, I could have 100% mixed this with all stock Ableton plugins. No problem. Would have been great. Would have sounded, I'd say, 90% as good. But it would have taken me a bit longer to tweak them to get it just right. And I think there's that extra 10% that pushes a song that extra level that helps a lot. That said, if you're just starting out, you don't need any of this. I have been making music for 20 years, and I've been collecting these plugins over time, buying like 1 or 2 a year. You don't want to jump all the way in and spend, a ton on plugins if you haven't learned the basics of just completely mastering the concept of using an EQ, how to read an EQ, how to use an EQ to solve problems, how to use a compressor, and the concepts of using those 2 main tools, how you're using reverb in your projects, automation, and all these other things. It goes such a long way. I'm losing my voice. Yikes. So my advice is buy one plugin at a time. if you can get a trial for it, if you can get a free trial for a plugin, like for example, I'm trying out this plugin called Soothe right now. It is sick. You put it on, and it just takes out. I know. See, it's gonna expire in like a week or two. It's really useful on guitars. It just takes out the harsh frequencies. It's like AI magic. But it's useless if you don't know what you're doing with an EQ in the first place. So learn your tools, master your tools first, and then start picking up more effects. The only plugins you use are instruments like Expand, Serum. Okay, that said, this does not necessarily apply to instruments. There's a lot of great free instruments out there. I need to make a list of those in my Discord to put those in there. But there's so many good free instruments out there. But instruments are where you really get the bang for your buck. Like, honestly, a lot of these are instruments. Most of these are like Native Instruments synths and stuff. And Serum and the Arturia stuff, like it all, that's the stuff that's worth paying for, in my opinion. Much more so than the effects, which the effects are just getting you that little tiny difference. Retro, tag me in the Discord, like give me a ping. I'll set that up. Will I do another Mandela catalog song? Maybe. If I get more into Mandela catalog, we'll see. I don't know. I had fun with this one. I have a lot of songs I'm working on. Are you allowed to do super chats? Of course you are, Devil. I will always welcome super chats. So yeah. Are there any genres of music that you've wanted to explore but maybe necessarily haven't had the chance to yet? Yeah, I want, and this sounds, man, this is going to sound so stupid. I'm just putting on some music, so I'm not talking to like nothing. Genres I want to get into. I want to do whatever Ad Infinitum by the Stupendium is. Which I think it's kind of like a really like dirty deep house kind of sound. And that's kind of what I imagine the Backrooms song I'm writing to be. I'm working on a song about the Backrooms. I have somebody in mind that I want to get to guest on it, and I don't know if they're going to agree to it, but I'm going to reach out soon and see what's up. And it's going to be a rap with like a really sick house beat. That's a style I haven't really done yet, and I think it'll be fun. When will the Lycanthrope metal cover come out? I don't think it's going to come out. I just wasn't happy with how it was going. Are there any other analog horrors that you watched or have an interest in? The Backrooms by Kane Pixels is amazing. His work with like Blender, like he does all of it in Blender, and it's insane to me. It's so good. He does such good work. Yeah, that's very, very good. And he's like 16 or 17 or something. Like, I can't believe it. I'm so mad. He's so good. Will I release any other session files? Yeah, okay. So this brings me to like another kind of announcement, which is that I'm starting. I've talked about this. Like, this isn't like a big secret or anything. I'm starting an online music school, which is going to be. It is going to be paid subscription. Right now, I haven't 100% decided on it, but it's going to be less than the price of like private lessons would be for a month. It's going to be a monthly fee. You're going to get access to every course I release on there, and to show you the courses I have planned. They're all mostly written, and I'm filming a lot of them right now. But here are the courses I have planned right now. Everything from music theory, music production, Ableton Live. I will do an FL Studio course because I feel like I should. writing for specific instruments, equipment, what you need, mixing. I'm going to get to these soon. These are just the ones I'm currently working on. It is going to be a complete collection of everything you need to know to make music. Literally everything from production and writing and theory and everything. All in one place for less than the cost of private lessons. Like I said, this is a thing I've really wanted to do for like a year now. I'm hoping it's going to launch in October. And future longest solo ever songs are going to be, I'm going to do these on there. And I'll go really in depth, like a full course almost on each song. If you grab the tracks down below of Intruder right now, I'll add you to an email list where I'll shoot you like a message and I'll give you like a free trial when it launches, just to see like how it's going, how you all like it, making sure it works. So we're gonna start that off like for free to make sure everything's cool, and I think it's gonna be fun. So that's my big that's the big thing I'm doing with the next like 10 years of my life is gonna be that big school. Do I have any processes for creating melodies with specific franchises like Mandela Catalogue or Sonic.exe? That's a good question. I don't. I would say I give a lot more thought to the lyrics when it comes to integrating whatever concept I'm talking about. Like for example, these melodic ideas come to me, and I hate to say it, I don't have a secret for like where Intruder came from. I have methods for writing melodies, I absolutely do, but I've done it so much at this point that I'm not thinking through those steps. And like I said, those songwriting courses, I will show you the method, the steps my brain is going through probably unconsciously to write stuff. But when I wrote this song, I literally just sat down on my piano and I heard in my head, that all came to me whole. That was the first thing I wrote for this, melodically and song-wise. Same with the Sonic.exe song. The first thing I wrote was the, and this isn't a spoiler because you've heard this in the live stream we did, but the "You're tired of running, nowhere to hiding, I'm getting closer every second." That came to me. I was in like the shower and I just heard that. And then I sat down, so I wrote that part out, and I got the chorus too. This one, I knew I wanted it to be dancey. I wanted to get kind of the feel of like a little bit of Casanova or Zavadilla or something, because I love those songs and they're really just like full of energy. And I wanted this to have that same dancey, kind of like a little bit of Russian dance influence feel that like Zavadilla has, you know? So you could picture this being like, you know, that kind of thing with like that minor melody. I don't know. This stuff just comes to me like that. But there are certainly methods you can use to come up with these, introducing contrast in the speed of the notes you're playing. The melody to Play With Me starts fast. It's fast, right? And then it slows down. So we have fast, slow. That's it. How do you go about making funky swing kind of melodies? So that is more of, I'm going to get out of Intruder because it's causing a lot of latency on my computer. So we're just going to go to like a blank session where I can play with these notes. So funky swing sounds, you get into It depends exactly on what you mean, to be honest. But swing is just moving in a pair of eighth notes like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It's moving that and a little later. So it becomes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I could make this melody into... You can even see it. Check it out. I'll actually show you. This is what I used to do with the chiptune covers. This is what I always do with the chiptune covers, actually. So here's the melody and chords to that song, right? Let's quantize it because I'm bad at piano. And now we're going to add swing. So let's grab a swing eighth notes groove and apply it. And if you notice, here's before, and watch this note. See, it got nudged forward a little bit. Listen to how different it sounds now. Just that tiny little nudge of every and in the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That actually wasn't that aggressive. I want to do more. Hang on. There we go. That really shifted it. Why does this sound so lame? Hang on. Oh, because I didn't apply that one. There we go. That's all swing is. It's just that. And you can also approximate this by writing on a triplet grid and using the last triplet as your eighth note. That works too. As for making things funky, the key to funky is syncopation. So focusing more on the ands. Like, let me get a drum beat going. Any drum loops, clips? Here we go. I put that on the wrong thing. Okay, here we go. I'm going to slow this down a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to play the same part a few different ways. I'm going to start with just the chords because it's easier to demonstrate that way. So here's just basic notes like this. Yeah, Callie, go for it. Yeah, y'all can release whatever you want with these session files, as long as you change something, like add your own vocals or remix it in some way. Don't just re-release it. That's not fun. But yeah, you can post these on YouTube any way you want, but not on Spotify or anything. Devil Diva, thank you so much. You made your first melody. Sweet. Any tips for a noob? Devil's Diva, remake songs you love and know very well from scratch. So if there are songs you like in Friday Night Funkin', also songs you like outside of Friday Night Funkin', out in the real world, quote unquote. Those songs have so much history to them. You can learn so much to these songs outside of Friday Night Funkin' and then apply it to the songs inside of Friday Night Funkin'. But the key things, remake these songs from scratch by ear. It's okay if they're not perfect. It's okay if it doesn't sound exactly like it. You will learn something from every time you take a song and try to remake it. So here's like super basic performance of those chords. Right? Very basic, very simple. We can add eighth notes. Still not funky. Meh, you know? What if we only played on the eighth notes? On the ands. And 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2. That's kind of cool. What if we mix some together? You can hear I'm barely playing on the downbeats. The 2, 3, 4. I'm avoiding those like the plague, but I'm everywhere else. Let's look at what I just did there. You can see all the activity is in between those main beats. Like, yeah, I'm kind of playing something down here, but these are the big chords. So emphasize the notes between your big beats, and you'll have funk. And make them short and snappy, you know? What is that? I love that song. I want to cover that sometime. That's my favorite song from Deltarune, hands down. It's so good. React to the Darkest Matter work in progress we made. Yeah, let's check it out. Let me see. All right, so this is Retro RSP. Let's take a listen. You made this in Famitracker, right? Okay, so there's one thing I hear in there. That you bring in this major chord at the end. You start playing this, and that is not in the song. The song is in C sharp minor, right? So if you have this major chord in there, you have this note going on then, because it's fighting against the melody. So if you want to look at what's going on in Darkest Matters, we can take a quick look. And you can get the BPM here too, because I don't remember what it's 165. Darkest Matters is 165. I know this. So listening to yours, you got that hit. That's cool. Overall, really good job with this. Really good job. Pretty solid. There's no chords in this though. It's literally just this bass note and these arps. That's all that's happening. Super dead simple. MMUU, yeah, it's a totally different vibe without the LFOs. Totally, those are driving it forward, and without that, yeah, it's a different thing. I've got these little pads playing here. Yeah. What are the notes of the arps? It's just octaves. Oh no, it's fifths. I'm sorry. Silly me. Right. Oh, it's two of them happening at the same time. They're both oscillating up and down an octave. So one's playing a C sharp and the other's playing a G sharp. That's cool. I forgot how I did this. I don't know. I don't remember anything I do. Yeah, that's that. Cool. I think we're going to wrap it up there. This was a lot of fun. Everyone, be sure to grab the tracks down below in the description for Intruder. You don't have to download everything in there. It'll let you like pick which parts you want to download, whether it's the Ableton files or just the MIDI or just the Serum presets are in there too. I dropped all of that in there. Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight. This was a lot of fun. I think we're going to do this again for Sonic.exe next week, or in a couple weeks. And like I said, after that point, they will all be on my online music school that I'm launching. So that's going to be fun. Cool. Thank you all so much. I may stream in the morning. I'm not positive yet. I have a lot of work to do on Play With Me, and I want to make sure it gets done. But hopefully I'll be streaming in the morning. Depends on how much I get done in the early morning. All right. Have a wonderful night. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.